Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are unpacking every single twist, every shocking reveal, and every horrifying monster from the long-awaited Poppy Playtime Chapter 5.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We're picking up right where the last chapter left off. And boom, we are immediately thrown into the absolute deepest, most dangerous part of the factory we've ever seen.
And trust me, this chapter is so much more than just escaping another spooky monster. We're finally gonna uncover the dark, twisted heart of a mystery that's been cooking for a decade. So yeah, let's dive right in.
First up, the descent into the labs. And look, the game doesn't ease you in at all. It's not a slow burn. It's a sudden, chaotic plunge that completely flips the script for our main character.
So the action just kicks off immediately. You've got this super vengeful Huggy Wuggy who corners you. And get this, he rips away your grab pack, which is, your main tool for everything. And then you just plummet deep into the factory's underbelly. And just like that, you're totally powerless, thrown into this brand new area that's just crawling with these failed experiments they call the wrong side optimals.
And right when you think things can't get any worse, a new character literally emerges from the shadows. Giblet. Now this guy, he's a survivor. He's been stuck in these dark tunnels, and he sees you, the player, who he calls, of all things, the Playtime Butcher, as his one and only ticket out of this whole nightmare.
Okay, Section 2, The Secret of Poppy Gel. And seriously, to really get what's going on down in these labs, we have to look at the messed up science that started this whole thing. This is the key to everything. So at the very heart of this entire story is this stuff called Poppy Gel. It's made from poppies, opium, and it's basically this scientific marvel. It's a growth medium that can regenerate cells, grow actual organic parts inside plastic toys, and, well, literally bring them to life. And here's what makes the science in the game so unsettling. It's actually connected to the real world. This Poppy Gel, it's pretty similar to a real substance called DMEM, which scientists use in labs for rapid cell growth. It's that little touch of reality that makes the whole nightmare factory feel terrifyingly plausible,
And this right here, it perfectly lays out the central conflict. You have the exact same formula, the same Poppy Gel, being used for two completely different reasons. On one side, you've got the founder, Elliot Ludwig. He's using it out of love, trying to bring his deceased daughter's mind back in the Poppy doll. But on the other side, you have Dr. Sawyer, who's just driven by pure ambition. He's using it to create these monsters, like Huggy Wuggy, who are just filled with uncontrollable bloodlust.
All right, next section, unmasking the prototype. So now that we've got the how pretty much figured out, it's time to tackle the biggest mystery of the entire series. We're going to uncover the who, the actual mastermind pulling all the strings.
So the big question, who is Experiment 1006, the prototype? I mean, for 4 whole chapters, this guy has been this shadowy figure in the background, just pulling the strings. Well, now we finally get to learn his tragic and, honestly, pretty shocking origin story.
Okay, get ready for this, because this is probably the biggest reveal of the entire series. The prototype, he isn't just some random monster. He's Oliver Ludwig, the founder's own adopted son. Can you believe that? He was the first test subject, the guinea pig for the Poppy Gel experiments. And when he figured out that his only purpose, his entire life, was just to be a test run for bringing back his stepsister Poppy, well, that twisted him into this being of pure absolute rage.
And then there's this line. So creepy. The Orkans are at a better place. He says this in the mimicked voices of other toys, and it really hints at this twisted god complex he has. He seems to believe he's saving the other orphans by absorbing them into himself. It's how he gets his control, by becoming this collection of all the factory's inhabitants.
Okay, part 4, the final confrontation. So now that we're armed with this absolutely world-shattering new information, we're jumping back into the main story. And this is where all those different plot threads we've been following, they just collide in this insane, chaotic, and pretty emotional finale.
It all starts with this tea party ambush. So after you're forced to do all these twisted little tasks for this brainwashed toy named Lily Lovebread, you, Poppy, and Kissy Missy all find yourselves trapped in her super creepy tea party.
And then, the special guest arrives, and for the first time ever, we see the prototype in his full form. And man, it is horrifying. He's this grotesque chimera, like the upper body of a jester, but his lower half is this mechanical mess made from all the parts of the toys he's defeated and absorbed over the years.
So the prototype immediately goes after Poppy, but then Kissy Missy, who is just furious, breaks free. And in this really incredible heroic moment, she sacrifices herself. She ruptures these canisters of red smoke that are attached to the prototype, which creates a massive diversion and lets Poppy and the player just barely escape the ambush.
And that kicks off the climax. This absolutely desperate tram chase. I mean, this whole sequence just shows you how terrifyingly powerful the prototype is. He takes out Huggy Wuggy like it's nothing, he survives a huge Poppy gel explosion, and he just will not stop chasing that tram. It all ends in this devastating moment where he stabs the player and grabs Poppy.
So what happens next? You'd think that's the end, right? The hero's defeated. But no, the chapter doesn't end there. Instead, it just unleashes this series of back-to-back twists that completely change everything we thought we knew about this story. Which brings us to the next big question. Who is the player, really? Because after getting stabbed, the player gets thrown into a vat of that Poppy gel and heals instantly. And that's a huge reveal, right? It means the character we've been playing as this whole time is not a normal human. So, who are they?
Well, the leading theory, and it's a good one, is that we're actually playing as a guy named Rich Lovitz. He was a former employee at Playtime Co., known as the People's Man because he always looked out for the workers. But the higher-ups framed him, betrayed him, and he ended up resigning right before the whole Hour of Joy massacre went down. So the idea is he's come back years later, probably out of a whole lot of guilt, to try and uncover the truth and maybe right some wrongs.
But wait, there's more. The final twist might just be the most shocking one of all. After you, the player, are revived by the gel, Giblet, our supposed new friend, helps you complete your main mission, activating this master backup you've been looking for this whole time.
And here is the final gut punch. The entire mission? It was all a trick. The master backup isn't some secret weapon or a weakness you can use against the prototype. No. It's the fully revived mind of Dr. Harley Sawyer, the actual architect of the monster toys, the guy who started this whole horrifying mess. So you haven't found a solution. You just brought back the story's other main villain.
So that leaves us on this massive cliffhanger. I mean, think about it. The prototype has captured Poppy, his own sister. A mad scientist's mind is now loose in the entire factory system. And with the lines between who's a hero and who's a monster getting blurrier by the second, the big question isn't just about escaping anymore. It's who is truly in control of Playtime Co. So yeah, what do you think happens next?